Hello dear students, you are welcome in this video. Dear students, we are making a series on developing spoken communication, which is prescribed in the syllabus in Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. And we are making videos on all the material that is there in the syllabus. So here, next topic in our discussion is communication in organizational setting. In the before video, we talked about communication and its types, meaning, various things in the communication. Now let's talk about how this type of communication happens in an organization, because communication in organization is a very important or crucial means to achieve the goals or objectives set by the company or institution or organization, and hence communication plays a very vital role in achieving these common objectives. So in this video we are going to cover a few questions which you can understand here. Here we have some of the common questions which you can solve after the completion of this video or after listening to this video. Very first question that we have taken is, what is organizational communication, or what is communication in an organization? Second question is, what is upward communication? Then we have, what are the patterns of communication in an organization? All these questions are related to organization and the communication which happens in the organization. Next question we have, what is downward communication? Because we have different types of communication in an organization, and hence we will also explore all these types. Here we have, what is downward communication? And again, the fifth question we are going to cover is, what are types of communication in an organization? So there are two broad categories of this organizational communication, and we are going to understand those two broad categories. Now let's start with the organization. First, we need to understand what is the structure of organization or an institution before understanding the communication which happens in the organization. Here you can see this is the structure, and here you see hierarchical structure or different types of levels in an organization. For example, we can call it as, this is the top management, then we have the mid type of management or authorities, different types of authorities we have in the organization. And here at the bottom you can see the employees or workers in an organization, and this is the common structure, a very general structure of an organization, or how communication happens in that particular organization. So among all these members, we find that there happens communication, and this communication have different nomenclatures, and we are going to understand these different types of nomenclatures or types of this communication. So I hope you understood this structure or a very general framework of an communication. Now we will understand the same structure in relation to a college. How in a college we find this organizational communication happens, or what is the structure of the very organization or institution in college. So here we have the structure in college. For example, we have at the top management, and there are members of management, so we generally call it as management. Then we have administration. In administration we have principal, the head of the institution. Then we have internal quality assurance cell and its coordinator, which is called as IQAC coordinator. Then we have different types of heads of the departments, which also is an important part of the structure. Then we have office superintendent, or OS we generally call him as. Then we have all staff members, teachers under this HODs. Then we have under OS office staff, or all the members of the office. So this is a very general structure of an institution or college. We took this structure to understand how communication happens, and we will understand different patterns of the communication. So this is the structure. Now let's understand how this communication happens, or what are the patterns of communication. Here are a few major patterns we are going to discuss. Very first we have upward communication, which is also called as bottom-up communication, and you can look at this communication, how this communication happens. This communication happens from bottom to higher level, or from lower level to higher level. Means the employees or the workers are responsible to their authorities. Here in this levels you can understand, here we have at the bottom workers or employees. Now they communicate with lower or middle kind of management which is there. For example, we have managers, supervisors, CEOs, or heads of various departments in an organization, and they communicate with top level management or top CEOs. So this is the general structure of the upward communication or bottom-up communication. Means this communication happens from lower level to higher level. This is a very common in the upward communication. Now, the same thing we can understand through the structure of our college or institution. Here you can see this all staff members communicate with IQAC, or we can see that HODs or teachers or office staff with the OS, and they communicate with the principal, and principal communicates with the management. So this is the structure of communication, upward communication in a college or in an educational institution. So they do not directly communicate with management, but we have different types of steps, and they generally follow the hierarchy, and they directly contact to the principal or IQAC, or then they contact to the management. In an exceptional ways, these employees can contact to the management, but this is a very we can see that an exceptional way. This is not a common thing. In exceptional way, we find that these staff members or employees can directly contact to the management, but generally this communication happens from here to here, means from lower level to upper level. This is the first pattern we observed in organizational communication. We have second pattern, which is exactly opposite to the upward communication. This is downward communication, and here you can see the graph. Top level management communicates with the middle level management, then middle level management communicate with the lower level, then we find workers. So this is called as the downward communication, means this communication happens from higher level to lower level, and in this communication we find different types of things are conveyed, or information is provided through this communication. For example, instructions are given, feedback is given. Again, different types of plans are distributed through the formal channels of the communication from top level to lower level kind of management. Here we find that the same thing happens in the educational institution also. For example, management gives instructions to principal, and principal gives instructions to IQAC or HODs or OS, and then they give instructions to the lower level of staff, or we can say that the lower level of employees. So this happens from here to here, means it happens from higher level to lower level. So this is the basic difference between downward and upward communication. Next communication, here we have horizontal communication. What happens in horizontal communication? It is very simple. Horizontal communication happens at the same hierarchical level. Here you can see this level is same, and among all these departments this communication happens. There is no higher level or lower level communication, but the horizontal level communication, means at the same hierarchical level. Here we have an example. So, for example, purchase manager can have communication with production manager, and production manager can have communication with quality control department and sales manager. In the same way, here in educational institutions we find that this IQAC can convey messages to HODs, and HODs can convey messages to OS, and again this type of communication happens. So this level is called as horizontal level. Again, here we have also a horizontal level. So staff members can communicate with teachers, teachers can communicate with staff office, or again this communication happens in this way. So this is the horizontal type of communication which is important in an organization. So this example is related to our college or institution. Next we have grapevine communication. Now you can understand the very nomenclature here is given. Grapevine means it is a communication like grapevines. How vines spread, they have different types of branches, and from one end to another end this communication or this type of things happen. Actually it is an informal type of communication, and in this communication just staff members or employees most of the time gossip, and it has negative as well as positive effects. How positive effects? Because we find that it gives the social, it gives opportunity to build social relations. They can fulfill their social needs through this type of communication, but at the same time, most of the time this communication happens mere in the form of gossip. They gossip a lot, and there is a danger of spreading the important information among all the staff members, which is sometimes not required. So this is the scenario of grapevine communication. This is an informal communication. Now, dear students, let's talk about the next point, which is types of communication which happens in the organization. So here we have first type, formal. There are only two broad categories, formal communication and informal communication in relation to the organizational communication. So what happens in formal communication? Formal communication is a very, we can say that, strict type of communication which is called as official communication. For example, the staff members receive mail, emails. This may be in the form of oral communication and written communication also. In written communication, we find that the documents are circulated, instructions are given, letters are provided, memos are provided. So all these types of communication happens in the formal scenario. Here you can see this picture is of formal communication, where all the peers or all the staff members discuss the common goals or common objectives, and this is an official communication. To opposite, going to opposite this communication, here we have informal communication, and informal communication may happen anywhere in the department or outside the department, in the company or outside the company, once all the staff members meet and they have strong relations with each other or bonding with each other. And this in informal communication, we find that they discuss a lot of things. They discuss different types of things which are positive or negative also. And in informal communication, we find grapevine communication is most of the times happens. So basically, this communication is to build social relations, is to fulfill the social needs, but at the same time, this communication may have negative impact also, because most of the time this communication just turns to the gossip or irrelevant discussion, irrelevant things, and hence it is very important to manage or control such type of communication in an organization. So this is informal scenario where you can see all the peers are discussing leisurely. They have time. They may discuss at the coffee table or in the department, anywhere, whenever they find time. So this type of communication must be controlled, or it must be very strictly prohibited in an organization when it comes to achieving the common goals. But it is not possible to control this informal communication also. Sometimes this informal communication also helps to build the common objectives or to achieve the common objectives of the company, but it need to be monitored very well. So the monitoring system should be there in the company or in an institution. So here you can see this is the scenario. I hope you got the idea of this informal communication. So far as we talked about the types of communication in an organization, for example, upward, downward, grapevine, and horizontal communication, formal and informal communication. If you have any problem, any query, you can comment below in the comment section. We will solve all the problems or queries. So thank you very much for watching the complete video. Let's meet in the next video.